We got the top 10 fantasy baseball drops coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We are going to count down the top 10 drops on fantasy baseball leagues. If you're a big fan of this type of content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever we drop an episode. Let's jump right in here to number 10. We have Tommy Edmond, 77% owned, batting 9th in St. Louis. Over the last month, he's got 3 runs scored, 2 runs batted in, and a stolen base, .240 average. Now, Edmond has been a useful fantasy bat for his whole career, but what makes him rosterable is his ability to score runs and steal bags without hurting you too much in any other category. This year, however, the runs are still there, but Edmond is only hitting .237 for the season. And although he's still stealing bags, it's not any longer at an elite level. I consider Orlando Arcia and possibly Michael Garcia there as pickups to consider over Tommy Edmond. To number 9 we go. We got Dalton Varsho, 81% owned, batting 7th in Toronto. Over the last month, he's got 7 runs scored, a homer, 7 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, .239 average. Varsho carries the catcher tag without playing behind the plate. That's fantasy gold in most cases. But of course, Varsho is not having a good season at the plate. If we ignore the 13 bags that he's stolen this year, he would not be rosterable even in the catcher position. I'd consider picking up Francisco Alvarez or Elias Diaz over Varsho. To number 8 we go. Alex Verdugo, 75% owned, batting 7th in Boston. Over the last month, he's posted 3 runs on a homer, 3 runs batted in, and a stolen base, .194 average. Now, Verdugo is a bit of an enigma. When he's on, he's a doubles machine and could be among the lead leaguers in runs atop the Boston lineup. But Verdugo has been in a slump for a while now, and he is now hitting in the bottom half of that lineup. He's a liability for fantasy squads as he doesn't hit enough homers or steal enough bases. I would consider picking up James Outman or TJ Friedl over Verdugo at the moment. Let's go to number 7. We got Byron Buxton, 75% owned, batting 4th in the lineup here in Minnesota. Over the last month, he's posted 6 runs, 2 homers, 8 runs batted in, and a stolen base, a .200 average. Now, Buxton makes the list for a couple of reasons. First, he's on the IL, of course. He's been shut down for 2 weeks, and the Twins will reevaluate his recovery at that time before ramping him up for a return. The second reason is that he has been such a drain on average, it really negates the production he might give you elsewhere. By the time he does get back, it might be too late for him to make an impact on fantasy squads. I'd be more interested in rostering a Nolan Jones or Mickey Moniak at this point. To number 6 we go. We have Jordan Hicks, 56% owned, 9.1 innings pitched over the last month, 3 saves, 6 strikeouts, 2.89 ERA, 1.61 whip. Hicks is the hardest throwing pitcher in the league, and he's just got poor command. He has been useful filling in as a closer role, however, for Ryan Helsley with the Cardinals, and of course now Romano with the Blue Jays. But with news that Romano is close to a return, Hicks becomes an immediate drop. If Kyle Finnegan is somehow still available in your league, pick him up immediately. Otherwise, I'd consider picking up Trevor May or Justin Lawrence or maybe even Brooks Raley to fill that spot. Let's go to number 5. We got Josh Young, 79% owned, batting 5th in the lineup in Texas. Over the last month, he's posted 8 runs with 3 homers, 11 runs batted in, and a .250 average. This is a similar situation as Byron Buxton with one exception. Young is out for 6 weeks. He may return in time to be a factor in fantasy baseball's final week of the season, but really it's too risky for my money. Despite the production that Young has put together, it's really tough to hang on to him, especially if you don't have an open IL spot. I would consider getting Wilmer Flores or Ezekiel Duran at this point. Let's go over to number 4. We got Joe Ryan, 90% owned. Over the last month, he's pitched 19 innings, 1 win, 28 strikeouts, 8.53 ERA, 1.84 whip. Ryan has also been sent to the IL. He has a groin strain at the moment, and the earliest he can return is August 18th. What is far more troubling, though, with Joe Ryan is that he has served up 17 homers in his last 7 starts, posting an 8.53 ERA in that time. The hope is that he can right the ship before season's end, but I wouldn't bet on it. I'd get Grayson Rodriguez or Nick Pivetta instead of hanging on to Joe Ryan at this point. Let's go to number 3. We got Anthony Rizzo, 65% owned, batting fourth in the lineup in New York. Over the last month, he has 4 runs, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in, 177 average. Rizzo has been under concussion protocol since last Thursday, based on a collision that he suffered in May against, I guess it was Fernando Tatis. In his last 24 games, he has posted a 458 OPS. Hopefully he can clear his protocol and make it back to the diamond soon. But until then, feel free to send him to the waiver wire, and I'd pick up Josh Bell or Christian Encarnacion Strand. Let's go to number 2. We got Andres Jimenez, 75% owned, batting second in the lineup in Cleveland. Over the last month, he's got 10 runs scored, 3 homers, 8 runs batted in, 3 stolen bases, 181 average. Jimenez has been a pretty big disappointment this season. He has been useful on the base pass, but he's been a drain on the other 4 categories. His ownership should be far under the current one at 75%. I would consider getting Trevor Story or even Luis Rengifo as a possibility instead of hanging on to Andres Jimenez. And last but not least, we got Lucas Giolito, 85% owned. Over the last month, he's posted 23.2 innings pitched with a win and 28 strikeouts, 8.75 ERA, and a 1.86 whip. The Angels' prize pickup at the trade deadline hasn't really been the answer LA was hoping for. He has served up 12 runs and 5 homers over the 9 innings pitched that he's logged here with the Halos. And his next start is against the Texas Rangers. I would stay far, far away from that matchup. I'd feel a lot better with Tariq Skubal or even Steven Matz on my roster over Lucas Giolito going forward. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it here. Please do leave a like and, of course, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. That's going to do it here for now. We're going to sign off, and we are going to catch you guys on our next episode.